Hello again, and on the UK edition this week, let's get to Buckingham Palace. About time, isn't it? We'll be there a while these coming few days, but first, let's hitch a ride with the new Indian High Commissioner to Britain, Girija Sinha, presenting his credentials to Her Majesty the Queen. And we hear that the Queen expressed some concerns over umpiring decisions in India between England and India in the test matches. Also, she had the most kind things to say about the Indian community in Britain.
In an old English tradition, the new High Commissioner to Britain, Girija Sinha, was driven up in a royal horse carriage to present his credentials to the Queen at Buckingham Palace. The horse-drawn carriage itself proved a draw for tourists around the palace. On return, again as tradition has it, the High Commissioner and his wife fed carrots to the horses who had done the hard work all along the way. The High Commissioner had some words to share later on his conversation with the Queen.
Her Majesty was, of course, very gracious when she mentioned about the Year of Culture, the India-UK Culture, which starts this year. It actually gets kicked off with a reception by Her Majesty at Buckingham Palace later this month. And I did mention to her that apart from a very senior minister from the government of India, we may have Sachin Tendulkar coming. And her eyes lit up, and she talked about how the English team didn't do that well. And I said, the English team did very well. They were very close matches. And then she, with a twinkle in her eye, she said, I remember Joe Root being given out unfairly. So, so I said, Mom, perhaps we need neutral umpires and DRS, T20s also. So she had a hearty laugh. And Her Majesty was very happy to note about the contribution which she's aware of, but also she asked me about the size of the Indian community in the UK. And she was very happy that we were all working together to ensure that our bilateral relationship, which, as I said, is vibrant and robust, is further strengthened.
Following the footsteps of His Excellency the High Commissioner visiting Her Majesty the Queen, Buckingham Palace will open its gates to hundreds of Indians to mark the start of the Indo-British Year of Culture. Buckingham Palace will get that going in grand style with an Indian touch. Let's see what lies ahead.
The Queen will host a unique reception at Buckingham Palace to mark the Indo-British Year of Culture. Celebration of 2017 as the Year of Culture between the two countries was agreed on during Prime Minister Modi's visit to Britain late in 2015. He will be represented by Finance Minister Arun Jaitley. The celebrations will be colourful. The historic changing of the guard ceremony at Buckingham Palace will take place to Indian colours and Indian sounds, with A.R. Rahman's Jai Ho from the Slumdog Millionaire as the theme song for the guards. The palace will host a reception later in the evening to be attended by about 200 guests, several celebrities among them, including actors, sports personalities such as Kapil Dev and Rio Ferdinand, celebrity chef Vikas Khanna, designer Manish Malhotra and sitarist Anushka Shankar. Several members of the royal family will attend the reception. Specially themed Indian snacks will be served, prepared at the Veeraswamy, the oldest Indian restaurant in London. This will be only the start for a series of events to follow through the year. But for Mr. Jaitley, there will be more to do than attend the reception at the palace. He will meet top financiers, business leaders and also top British ministers in the course of his 5-day visit to Britain.
Well, the Indo-British Year of Culture is off to a start already. Off to a very naughty start with some very naughty storytelling.
The Indo-British Year of Culture got off to a spicy start at the British Library at King's Cross with a commentary from storyteller Seema Anand from the Kama Sutra.
And I just want to start off by saying that actually if you take the average length of the orgasm for the average person who has an averagely active lifestyle, an averagely active sexual life, it mounts up to 12 minutes in a year. 12 minutes. So if you're going to read the Kama Sutra to increase that by a few seconds, I would not suggest.
And then came the stories with a mischievous touch on the good old days before political correctness took over.
You see, in the Philistine, there was an emperor. The emperor had a wife. The wife had a sister. a very, very beautiful sister called Bahar. And the emperor was in love with Bahar. Now, you can understand actually, if you've seen Bahar, because she was so beautiful. She was so beautiful, just to look at her made you feel happy. You know, she was like that one rain-drenched cloud in the middle of the desert. She was like a glass of ice water after the midday sun. She was like the perfume of your lover that clings to you after a night of passion.
With Sanjay Suri in London, this is Vaibhav Verma for News 18.
Indian palaces have produced a lot more saucy stories than have British ones, but speaking kings and queens and princes and princesses, spare a thought for Princess Diana. And the first thoughts about Princess Diana always were what she wore, isn't it?
A new exhibition of some of Princess Diana's most unforgettable dresses has opened at Kensington Palace Gardens, her home for more than 15 years. From her early romantic style to the later glamorous look, the exhibition traces Diana's growth as a person and as princess. The exhibition also displays ways in which she worked with top designers of her time. The display includes such unforgettable outfits as the blue velvet gown she wore when she danced with John Travolta. The iconic outfits show Diana growing in confidence throughout her life, increasingly taking control of how she was represented and intelligently communicating her thoughts and her independence through her clothes. Historic Royal Palaces, the organization that has put the exhibition together, believes it tells a story that many around the world, particularly women, can relate to.
After all that spectacular stuff, we will come down to earth after a very short break and consider those greasy, suspiciously greasy £5 notes in our poor pockets. See you in a bit. Welcome back. Didn't we all love these new £5 notes, silky smooth? Where did that come from? From animal fat that they were treated with, and Hindu temples around the country are very concerned.
At the Ram Mandir in Southall, as at about 200 Hindu temples around the country, it is still worship as usual. But now there is an unease in the air over the new £5 notes revealed to have been treated with animal fat. Many of the worshippers are very unhappy about that.
As a Hindu, we are also concerned about these notes, and our mandir is strict about these notes, and our committee member also take some actions and stop the people to not use these notes, especially in Aarti as well.
About the handling, because we believe in when we give something charity or anything to the temple, sometimes we only give one person and then rest of the family touch that thing, कि सबको सवाब लगेगा उसका, कि सबकी तरफ से दान हो जाएगा. So this is the one main point for touching anything and then giving it into charity. And the other thing is, as a Hindu, I will definitely oppose this. Then we have to think about it for how to solve this problem, how to protest it, how to bring forward to the public awareness of it, what's happening, because still not many people are aware of it.
Our places of worship, our mandirs are run on a charitable concern. So it's people who come and donate to us. Now they have a little difficulty of donating, to either get rid of the £5 notes or sort of having a direct contact with the £5 notes, just because it has some sort of extract of sort of fat from different sort of sources. But I think there are solutions which are very concerning. They've suggested us to sort of open up or give a voucher scheme where we can take this money and then take it to the bank through a different channel, but still comes out to our donations here. Because right now, our places of worship are actually suffering for that donation, which people would have wanted to give here. So they're simply not, some of them are quite strict Brahmins. So it's a big concern.
The priests at the temple are particularly unhappy at the thought of having to handle such notes.
धर्म में शास्त्र के अनुसार कहा गया है कि धर्म एव हतो हन्ति धर्मो रक्षति रक्षितः। अगर हम लोग हिंदुइज्म के हिसाब से देखें, शास्त्र के हिसाब से देखें, तो धर्म की रक्षा करें तो ही धर्म हमारी रक्षा कर सकता है। धर्म की रक्षा करने का मतलब मेरा ये भी है, क्योंकि एक 5 पाउंड की नोट की जो बातें चल रही है हम सुन रहे हैं, हम देख भी रहे हैं, क्योंकि मंदिर में आने वाले भक्त जो होते हैं वो कई रूप से अपने आप से कुछ न कुछ दान भी देना चाहते हैं, लेकिन मर्यादित हो जाता है। और ये जब 5 की नोट आती है तब उनके मन में भी एक थोड़ा सा एक मन में एक जिसको कहते हैं ना एक थोड़ा सा एक संशय हो जाता है कि मैंने आज ये दान जो दिया है वो दान के प्रति जो नए चीज़ें यूज़ करनी चाहिए, ऐसी चीज़ें इसके अंदर मिलावट करके ये 5 की नोट जो बनी है तो कम से कम ये धर्म की तो हानि होती ही है।
And so what are temples going to do? Let's step across and speak to Umesh Chandra Sharma, Chair of the Hindu Council UK. Umesh ji, thanks for joining us from your temple. Now, how did you first hear of this £5 note issue?
We were not aware ourselves. There some of devotees, they asked us these questions that are you aware that there is some fat in £5 notes? So we contacted Bank of England and they wrote to us to have a meeting with us to let us know the real picture and if we have any concern.
Now, you had a meeting at the Bank of England. What did you tell them and what did they tell you?
We had a meeting of Bank of England with Victoria, who is chief cashier of Bank of England and person in charge for any tendering of the notes. It was a very frank meeting, open meeting, it's no formality, and we asked, is it true? And to their credits, they say yes, there is, some traces of, fat in these production of notes. And to my own amazement, Sanjay ji, she was saying that even they were not aware when they ordered to the suppliers. Them were not, sure, because this is the first time they have produced these polyester type of £5 notes. And after doing that, they called the meeting and expressed their regret.
Now, what exactly is the substance on these notes?
Very, very fractions, but she was explaining it's a kind of liquid sprayed, so that they are easy to, operate these notes and they for long lasting. It's not that ingredient is, that something fat actually added into that. It's just kind of a sprinkle so that they are easy to, count and they last long.
And what does the spray contain?
I'm aware of only fat. I'm not actually aware of what it is, but it is some kind of fat.
And you believe it is based on animal produce?
It is. They are very open about that.
What did the Bank of England say they will do?
As I said, first of all, they have acknowledged that that's true. They are very open about that. They acknowledge our concern as well.
But they're not going to withdraw these notes?
They are not going to withdraw the notes. And what they have done, they are looking into alternatives for any future production. And they are also withholding signing off of £20 notes which were about to be tendered. They have stopped. And above all, it's not only a Hindu matter. For Bank of England, it's a countrywide issue. So they are going to consult the wider community as a whole. So if there is any suggestions from anybody else.
But in the meanwhile, what will you do if someone comes to the temple offering these £5 notes?
We are very open as well. As soon as I came to know, we announced in our temple that this is the situation. So, what we have done, as you have seen, in prayer hall, when we actually do prayers and have jyoti, if anybody want to put money in that one, that we have stopped, because that is the highest point where money can be put in front of our deities, because we think our deities, once we have pran pratishtha, they are live, they are Bhagavan for us. We cannot have any impurity in front of those deities, so that we have stopped. But if anybody want to give donation otherwise in office, we are handling that. We have no problem with that, because we handle our wallets, we handle our belts, we even they say in glasses which I wear, even traces of fats are there. So we have stopped £5 notes in prayer hall, but anybody want to give us as a donation, we can give it to the recipient.
So you'll accept them as an offering to the temple, but not as an offering before the deity.
Yeah, that's the issue at the moment as far as we are concerned. Because personally, myself and many devotees, they have no issue in handling. It's nothing to,
This money issue is always a tricky one, but how much money could we be talking about? Let's hear from Arun Thakur, who's treasurer of the Hindu Temple Trust. Arunji, are we seeing a difference in the offerings being made at temples?
Yes, of course. There's a less donation coming in the donation boxes, because we announced in our temple here also. Plus it comes in the newspapers also, plus in the TV also, that this is going on. And when we had a meeting in the Bank of England, I said to the chief cashier, head cashier, about this. The data we collected all over UK, average is around £250, which is average, I'm telling you, less coming weekly in the donation boxes. We don't mind to handle downstairs, because we believe in the purity. And even the priests don't handle that thing. We downstairs can handle and deposit in the bank. But upstairs, because everything is pure, and in front of the gods, boxes even, we don't allow. If somebody put it there, we have to open the box and get the money out from there.
So this is not just hurting sentiments, it could threaten survival.
Yes, of course, I mentioned this to the chief cashier also. I said, if you want, I can give you the proper data of all over UK also, because it's not us only. There's all other organization is also involved in this, Jain community, vegan society, and there is so many. She mentioned the name on that day, and she's already spent so much money on printing these ones and the new ones, some coming again, but they hold off for some time.
Are you considering alternatives to cash donations?
Because we mentioned upstairs, and then we said if anybody wants to bring it, they bring it by the check. We don't mind check, because we don't do with the credit card machine or anything, because these are the voluntary organizations. Only Panditji is here, and Panditji don't handle with the £5 notes. So that's why there's another aspect of that, less money coming in. Because £5 is easy to give a donation by the service people. And there's a lot of gap between the 5 and 10. And tomorrow the 10 comes, then at the 5 and 20. There's going to be less money coming in the temples, and difficult for survival for the societies, Hindu societies, or all organizations.
Just how many temples are out there, and what do we believe is the average weekly offering at all these temples put together?
More than £400,000 or 500,000, but if you count big temples also, including that one, more than that, weekly, is around 200 some temples.
So a shortfall could mean a lot of money lost.
Yes, of course. £5 is easy to give in the donation boxes. Everybody can afford to pay £5 note. But there's a difference between 5 and 10, and tomorrow 10 will come, and 20 and 5. There's a lot of difference coming in. And the shortfall is coming for the survival of the societies, like temples or the organizations.
So a lot of people praying in temples and outside that they don't run short of money one way or another. But more on money, more on palaces next week. See you then.